Today we're going to talk about the latest legal challenge to California's plastics packaging EPR. Welcome to Material Insights. I'm Plastics News editor Don Lepp. I'm joined by Steve Toloken, who reported last week on the June 22nd lawsuit by Republican-led state attorneys general to block California's extended producer responsibility law. Steve, what's at the heart of the lawsuit and why is it significant for the plastics industry?
First off, hi Don. Thanks for having me on. So this is a lawsuit, as you said, from 17 Republican state attorneys general around the country. They're saying that California's plastic packaging EPR law will, because of the market size of California and some of the particulars of the law, it's going to have an impact far beyond the state. It's going to force up packaging prices for the consumers in those 17 states. So they're saying they're suing to block that. They're making arguments that California is, it's exceeding its authority in regulating interstate commerce. They're making some constitutional free speech arguments, and they're making some sort of due process arguments around going to the heart of how EPR programs are structured, appointing a pro organization that winds up implementing a lot of the law. So, I think it's significant because you've got 17 other states asking a federal court to block what California is trying to do. And of course, in the background, you have 6 other states that have also passed EPR laws, which everybody's looking at a lawsuit like this pretty closely. So yeah, a lot of interest.
So the lawsuit, and you wrote a follow-up story where you wrote about how it comes down to sort of one central question: who should pay for the packaging waste, whether it should be producers or taxpayers. What are the different sides of this argument?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the argument at the heart of EPR. Do you like it or do you not? And I think the federal court will have to sort of sort that out, which would be interesting. Yeah, so the argument is that the California law proponents, including the Senator Ben Allen, the state senator who has been sort of the EPR packaging guru in that state, really the person who's driven it for years. He's basically said he says, well, these other states probably don't seem to care as much as we do about dealing with plastic waste. And he argues in a statement to us, or a statement that he was releasing, that what they're trying to do is say that the companies that put packaging on the market need to pay for the waste disposal, the recycling costs of that. Right now, those costs are pretty much externalized. That's the argument around EPR. And I think it's getting elevated because you've got 17 states, challenging California's ability to do this.
You've also wrote there are other legal challenges to California's EPR.
Yeah, the other main one is there's a legal challenge from some environmental groups in California, and that one's in California State Court. They're saying that the rules that have been used to implement the California law that government agencies have come up with are too weak and are deviating from the actual requirements of the law. So on the one hand, you have the Republican state attorneys general around the country saying this law is way too strong, we don't like it. On the other hand, you have environmental groups in California saying that the implementation of this law is way too weak, and you're not being faithful to the original law and how it's being implemented.
Nope.
So, and there are other people who are strong proponents of EPR, like the National Stewardship Action Council, which are kind of saying that we should expect these kind of lawsuits because this is a very new policy area in the United States. There are significant economic interests involved. It's natural that some of these issues are going to go to courts, and courts may resolve some of these issues. So I guess that's sort of a take a deep breath and carry on kind of argument. So
Yeah, these are going to move through the courts. I don't think we can really predict what direction they're going to go, and at this point, it's just kind of wait and see, right? Companies probably need to prepare for the EPR as if it's going to happen.
Well, and that is the other side of the argument or the advice that companies are getting. including from the groups that are trying to implement these, the the producer responsibility organizations, is that they are still proceeding to implement these EPR laws, and all these EPR laws are still being implemented. So even though you have legal challenges, that doesn't stop the clock from ticking, the requirements from continuing, the reports that companies have to file, the fees that have to be paid, all those things continue on.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. That's Material Insights for this week. Make sure to follow Plastics News for all the latest materials-related news in print and every day online at plasticsnews.com.